Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike the Comic Nerd. Now I apologize in advance for the jump cuts, but there is no way I can honestly say all I have to say in one or two takes, so here we go. Now this is going to be a very different kind of video, most notably because it's not about movies, and because, well, for all intents and purposes, it's not very comedic based either. Now as I'm sure you've noticed over the past year, I've been blessed with a lot of good people in my life, all of whom I consider good friends, and some even best friends. They've taught me a lot since I've met them, and I've had some great experiences, and some not so great, but learning experience is all the same. But the one thing they've taught me more than anything else is how to let myself be vulnerable, which up to that point has never been something I've been particularly good at. It's through this vulnerability I've learned the strength of being able to express things that make people uncomfortable, personal things that might make some people feel at ease, and I've learned that the things that have the most opportunity to hurt us or leave us open to being hurt by other people are also the things that can make us feel most connected to other people and can make us feel less alone in the process. And some of the best moments I've had this year, and really some of the worst, have been because I've allowed myself to connect with other people. My point is that there's a lot of things that I wish people knew about me, but due to pride or insecurities or what have you, I just don't feel comfortable talking to them face to face, or just involves a conversation I don't want to have. So I guess I'm trying to make these as a way to communicate those ideas that I just don't feel comfortable talking about. And if you're one of these people that I'm talking about, and you probably know who you are, I would very much appreciate it if you pretend you never saw this and don't bring it to my attention that you saw it. That all being said, I'm just gonna talk about things that are bugging me or things that are important to me. I'm just gonna talk. And I know I'm young, and I know there's gonna be a lot of older people watching this who think that I'm full of shit, and there's a distinct possibility that might be true, but I don't know. All I have is my perspective, and I'm gonna talk through that. And you can take that as you will. You can criticize me, you can contribute, you can correct me based on your own perspective. But that's your choice. So take it as you will. The first thing I want to talk about is something that I've never been particularly good at either talking about or doing, which is letting go. And quite frankly, it's something I've been struggling with quite a bit lately, so it feels pretty relevant. This topic frustrated me a lot growing up and even now, because whenever I try to talk to people about something that was going on with me, something that was bothering me, they would just say, let it go. Whether it was someone I was trying to get over, or an opportunity that I had a lot of hope invested in that didn't go the way I wanted to, or hell, I don't know. A disappointment that crushed me. Most people I would talk to would just tell me to let it go. Just like that. And this always made me mad because I felt like they talked about like it was just a on-off switch, like it was that simple, and I guess I just always frustrated me when some people just did it so easily, and yet I continuously struggle with it to the point where I feel like I'm just trying desperately to keep my head above water. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to this church youth group, and yes, I used to go to church, but this isn't about religion, so let's not make it about that. And I remember one time in particular, the youth leader or whatever, I don't remember what they're called, just had us all like in a circle, and at some point would just say, like, whenever you have like problems or burdens or anything, just give it to God, or let God handle it, or something to that effect. And I remember I just looked at this man, I just asked, how do you do that? I mean, what's the process? Because I was a kid, I was confused. I'm still confused. How do you do that? I remember this man just gave me kind of a blank stare. Like he didn't know what to say, or like he never been asked that question before. And then he basically just kind of repeated the same sentence over again. And that's kind of what told me that, for all intents and purposes, they don't know either. I mean, maybe none of us know. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe we're all just pretending, or Or hell, more likely is the fact that we're all just winging it. Because letting go isn't one of those universal step-by-step things. Everyone does it differently. Everyone kind of figures out their own way of letting go. And some can do it easily and some really struggle with it. And there is no easy way to answer that question. I think at our core, people just want to understand the world in a way that makes sense to us. And depending on how this experiment goes, I might make a whole video based on that topic alone, but for now I'm going to go over it briefly. I remember I was watching an episode of Parenthood a couple days ago, and one of the dads had to explain to his son that has Asperger's who loves lizards, and talking about puberty, which he was starting to go through, and he eventually stops him because he says, like, it's not an issue I'm ready to talk about yet. But just before he leaves, he says, Dad, I wish people molted like lizards. And that stuck with me. I think it stuck with me because it resonates with the idea that we all have this rich inner world and we try to justify everything in the outer world in a way that's compatible and makes sense to our inner world, and we get frustrated when it doesn't, because if everything was justified to our inner world, then maybe things wouldn't be so confusing and maybe they wouldn't feel like everything's so completely out of our control. He wants people to molt like lizards because he understands lizards. They don't confuse him. They don't make him feel lost in a world he simply doesn't get. Lizards are simple, and based on what I know about people, you know what? I kind of wish people were more like lizards too. Maybe letting go is a lot like that. That for some people letting go is really confusing and frustrating and just really difficult, yet for other people just as easy as breathing. I can't speak for other people, but I can speak for myself. I guess a part of me views letting go as a way of giving up. Like, it's a sign of weakness, like... And it's not. It's not giving up. It's just simply realizing that my desire, my obsession, or whatever the case may be, no longer fits into my plan for an ideal life. And I understand that's unhealthy for me, but... You try telling my heart that. And I guess with that feeling of giving up brings up feelings of failure, which automatically kicks my brain into thinking that I'm a failure, which of course isn't true, but again, you try telling my heart that. And I guess it just gets harder and harder because I feel like I failed on so many things that were important to me at one point. Friends, crushes, opportunities, and hopes. A lot of things that haven't worked out the way I wanted them to, and I had to pull myself away kicking and screaming. There's a fear to it, too. A lot of what-ifs get thrown around. What if things are about to turn around like a Disney movie? What if this is my last chance? What if I give up on this and I just end up sad and alone as a result? What if I lose everything? It's also worth noting that these questions are pretty out there and pretty unrealistic, and that the reality isn't going to be nearly as bad as holding on to the obsession will be. But then there's the question that really gets me, the one that really sticks with me. What do I do now? Where do I go from here? This question should be exciting. It scares the crap out of me. It's the uncertainty. Fear of the uncertain. And a fear of starting over. Still don't know what to do about that. It's because of this that I hate admitting when I have to let go, and I avoid it every chance I get, but eventually, after a lot of rather negative experiences, I eventually realize that I have to let go, and I give it a shot, for better or worse. It doesn't always work, and I've ended up relapsing on more than a few occasions, but I guess recognition is part of it. Part of the process, part of my process anyway. I don't really know what my process is. I'm still learning. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to find something that works for me. But, you know what? Damn it all. It'd be nice if I didn't have to. So there you go. There's my whole attempt at public vulnerability thing. Why don't you give it a shot? See how it makes you feel. Leave a comment with something that makes you feel vulnerable or something you want to talk about, and who knows? If enough people like this video, enough people want more, then maybe we'll make another video with your topic. So, You got to lose, right? Well, I hope you got something out of this. And if you didn't, well, I guess there's really not much I can do to help you. But thank you for watching regardless. And I guess I'll see you all in my next video, whether that be a review or another one of these, depending on how the reception is. So, talk to you all later then, I suppose.